Excellent. एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भयो निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच वाहिगुरु 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 जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। नानक सहज मिलै जग जीवन नजर करो निस्तारो। Okay, we're good. Welcome back to In the Khud live stream. By God's grace, we have been able to do it for the 5th time in a row, so that's good. This is December 27, 2024, 9:03 p.m. and we're concluding a extremely productive week as it has gone from Monday to Friday, and that's kind of how every single week here is in the Khud. However, for the majority of this year at least, I didn't document it, and because this week I documented it through these live streams, it's sinking in. Oh, it's a very productive week, because I look back at all the live streams and I'm like, okay, that day I learned that day I learned that, and it's like every single day a lot of things happened, so that's good. And today I have one more significant thing to document, and then I will get to what I've worked on. So firstly that, which is the title of this live stream: how does source patching work in Vinci Resolve Studio? So what does source patching mean? It is an extremely essential term which every editor needs to be familiar with, and that is basically on your timeline, right? When you're working with complex projects, you have to drag and drop things from here and there. Rarely will this ever happen. Then when you're working on an editing based project, you will linearly be working from one end or the other. You will have a very complex sort of timeline like this, something like this, and you will always have to have clips either copied from somewhere else and pasted on your timeline, or just moving clips around from here, or the other option, which is what source patching is actually very, very useful for, is you will have something coming in from your source monitor, right? So I will get to that as well. How do you figure that out? So firstly, there are two aspects to it. One is when you are copying and pasting clips from another timeline into your current timeline, or when you are copying and pasting clips from the current timeline itself, like either back or forth. And the second is when you're taking things from your source monitor. So first let's look at copying and pasting within timelines, and then I'll take another timeline as well. So again, for copying and pasting, this is what is important, is you have this button here. If I can zoom in here on your tracks, you have this button. Now this is kind of confusing as we go through. If you were to check, right, all this part, one thing is you have these, and unlike Premiere Pro, you can't just click on these and it will become active. What you have to do is you have to right click here and then you have to click here. That becomes V1. And this is something I kind of found very weird about Resolve, is now currently this is also V1, that is also V1, but this has a red thing around it, and now nothing has a red thing around it. So why do you do it this way? Like in this way, Premiere Pro is a lot more simple. Like you just click on this and it becomes active, and if there are multiple active, then it will drop in basis some priority or whatever. But here this is kind of weird. And that's the same thing with audio as well, right? You can't just click on something. What you have to do is you have to look how now we can have multiple clicked. I don't know how that works. See over here, A2, there are two, A1 and A2, both are red, and then I can make one of them off, but I can't do that with all videos. So if I have this in this way, no, how did I get both of these to be active? I don't know. But anyway, the first part where we're copying things into the timeline, right? You want to worry about this button here, auto track selector. Okay, so let's say I'm going to take this clip here, okay, or let's say I'm going to take, wait, you can't see only, I'm going to take a clip here, again you can't see, so this clip on my timeline here, I want to copy it with Control C, okay, and let me jump back here, and I want to come in here, and over here I want to paste it. The video I want to paste on V2, okay, and the audio I want to play let's place it here. This should be A3, but for some reason it's called A2 right now. I don't know how to fix that. but V2 and A3 is where you want to paste. So again, this button, if none of these is clicked, okay, none of these is selected and I paste, you see what happened? This is what we want to avoid. It actually overridden my audio here, which is on track number 1, A1. Okay, so what was it? I want to paste on V3, so I'm going to select V3 over here in auto track selector. I'm going to disable this, and in audio I want to just select this here, A3. So now V3 and A3, if I paste, we're getting there, but we don't want V3, I want V2 and A3, and paste, and I get exactly where I wanted. So this is the button that you want to be careful about. It's not about this red box. Like I can have a red box here, but still if I keep pasting, it will paste only at the place which has auto track selector. Now if you have auto track selector here, and let's say you also have it here, now if I come in here and I paste, it still pastes here. So I think that is one thing I read on ChatGPT, is it pastes on the lowest enabled track. So right now this is enabled, so if with all of these enabled, I also enabled V1, right? So I should be replacing my solid color. Yes. Okay, so that's your conclusion for copying and pasting. What do you want to keep in mind? These auto track selectors, these are important, not these are important for the source patching part. I will show that from the source monitor, but here the one that is selected, it will be pasted there. If multiple of these are selected, the lowest selected one will be used for pasting. Okay, that is that. Let me just delete these because this is my working timeline. I'm still working on this project. How do you shut this? This, you see, this is one thing I'm not a big fan of with DaVinci, is it just, the timeline just keeps doing its own thing at some occasion. Like how do I shut this? I don't know. I don't like how the timeline is so... What is it doing? If I was editing this video, I'd put a text saying dies internally or something, but why? Like right now, why is V2 so freaking big? What have I done for it to be so big? Is it the keyframe thing that I opened? Performing backup. Yeah, and this one more thing that happens, if you know a solution to it, please let me know, is when I'm playing, right, it just auto resizes the timeline size, which is not something I'm wanting it to do. Just auto resize for no reason. Yeah, it's a very exciting edit that I worked on. Okay, the second part, as I said, we have to document, that is if something's on source monitor. So I'm going to take one of these clips. Do we have a sub clip here? Yes, this is a sub clip. So let's say I want to take this part, I put I and I say O, doesn't matter whatever the part is. Here when I want to do it, it doesn't matter on these track select or anything, I just want to work on here. So let's say I want to put this on top, so I come in here, V5, I right click and say, let me zoom in, V5, right click, say V1, and now when you come in here you have a few options, which is over here. If you come in, say G1, sorry, if you hover over these, you say insert clip, override clip, replace clip. So insert clip, what it does is it just puts it here, insert. So insert is, you want to see where it is putting, right? Wait, let me go back and undo. So I press on insert, which is F9, it puts it like this. It is inserting. Is it even moving things ahead? No. Yeah, got it. So insert, when you do insert, it does move your timeline ahead a little bit. What is it doing? Insert. But when you say, what is this? Overwrite, it will just paste it there itself. Okay, and wait, I don't want it to be changing here, so I'm put A1 here. So When you press F10, which is overwrite, it will just throw it like how you do it. And then there is what? Replace. So replace does this. I'm not sure what. If F9 is doing a thing where it's putting the clip at my playhead and rippling everything forward, that would actually be super useful. But it's not quite doing that. Maybe it's because auto track selector is off. So now if I say F9, yes. You see, now we can make 2 and 2 come together during a live stream. So I'm going to select all my audio tracks as well. These are all the stems which I showed yesterday. Now I'm in my playhead is here, right? What I want to do is I want to insert this little clip from my source monitor into the timeline. I'm going to move everything ahead, right? So I come in and say F9 and voila, everything moves ahead. If there is some things which obviously you don't want to move, so the music, for example, you will not want to move the music ahead. You would only want to move the dialogue ahead. So you uncheck those and press F9, and that's how it works. Now once that has happened, what you could also do is, that's the beauty of using these things. Now let's say I don't want to put it here, I'm going to put it here itself, right, where the actual audio or the dialogue goes here, and here this would be A1. So now if I press F9, we're going to put it exactly there. Perfect. So that was how to do source patching. This is in a nutshell whatever I wanted to show for this session. And there are a few things I also learned myself because of this documentation, so that is nice. So wrapping my head around source clip, zoom in a little, wrapping my head around this. Okay, more than the red box, I just said all of that before going to Fusion. Yeah, so this is one thing that happened today, is on a lot of occasions DaVinci Resolve was just getting like not responding, which by the way, my entire hypothesis of moving from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve is because DaVinci is so stable and it doesn't crash, and it auto saves, and it's a beautiful stable software. Premiere Pro is complete trash when it comes to stability and performance. But today for the first time I saw DaVinci Resolve get struggle a lot, and the reason for that was, I'm going to show you why. What I have in my project, because of my non-destructive mindset, I have a ton of sub clips. Like you see this yellow clip here, that's a sub clip, which if I open this in timeline, okay, let me right click here and open in timeline, this sub clip is 35 minutes of 4K 25 FPS footage, right? So in your timeline, even though you've chopped these sub clips up and you've pasted it here and you're doing things on there, you don't want to do this thing where you say take this, right click, and or if you do it that way, or you don't want to come in here and press the Fusion button and then go into the Fusion tab, because what happens is with the Fusion tab here, this is Fusion, yeah, you see, I mean it's working fine now, but 51206, there is probably a possibility that it's taking into account all of that data. Maybe it's not, but the bigger problem that I was facing is, like right now you see these sub clips, they also have color on them, which you can probably see, right? There's a grade, there's a color correction and everything that I've done here, so there are quite a few nodes there. Oh, you can't see, wait, yeah, so there's a color correction, everything going on here, so that is there. And then if you take into Fusion, it will just hang up, and I'm yet to figure why every time I took these clips into Fusion and I tried using Magic Mask, which is one of the biggest features of DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is kind of like the only single reason why you want to pay for the studio version of the Magic Mask. Every time I was taking it there, something was going wrong and DaVinci Resolve was giving this error. The error was called, I searched on Chrome for it, DaVinci Resolve GPU failed to perform image processing error code 5. This is what it was, and I don't know why that was happening. It was a GPU related issue, it's clear from the error, but I couldn't quite figure what the reason for that was. Anyway, the other thing, the important thing I want to document is subclip workflow, right? So let's say this particular clip over here, as I told you, this is a compound clip. What you can do, I'll show you two important things. This is a compound clip which I showed. You can come in here and say right click, open in timeline, and it will just open the timeline. Does it give the in and out points? Yeah, I think it does. What is it? This gentle calm way of working, is that what? No. So let's say I want this particular part, right, in my compound clip. How do I do that? I can alt bring this up here, then I can say right click and click here where it says decompose in place. Okay, you click there and it says using clips only. So now you have that exact part from that compound clip. That is one good thing. However, again, the same problem here is that if you extend this here, you still have the entire compound clip content, which is what I do not want. So why I do not want, because again, as I said, I don't want Fusion to have to deal with all of that stuff. So what I do is I'll undo and I say right click and I can make it a sub clip. But before you make it a sub clip, you need to find this in the source monitor, right? This particular part in source monitor. So how you do that is right click and say match frame, which if I can find it, should be here somewhere. Alt F is in media pool. If I do Alt F, that will just bring in the whole footage, but the shortcut for that is F. You press F and that opens it in the source monitor. And if you look here, I don't know if it's visible because it's a very big this thing, but it's added the in and out points as well in the source monitor. And now you can simply come in here and using our knowledge of source patching, I can say select V1 and over here let's just use here and I'm gonna say F9. So now I have this part here. No, don't do F9 yet. Once you've done that, over here you want to say right click, or maybe right click and create subclip. Alt B is the shortcut for that. So once you do that, it's gonna ask you to name your subclip, whatever you want to name. Use full clip extents. No, you don't want to check this because then that will actually be same as like this only. You uncheck this and say create, and now in your media pool here you have a subclip. And if I was to drag this subclip onto my timeline, one more thing I wanted to show about the source patching thing is what happens if none of these are selected, right? None of these are red, and you try dragging in. So once you do that, you will see that only the video will get dragged because there is no audio track red. If I undo that, if I have no video selected and if I have only the audio selected, if I drag in, only the audio will come in, not the video. Okay, so that's one handy thing to know. Again, I'm gonna enable this and can I add a track here? Yeah, over here enable this and just the video I need. So why do we do the whole thing is because right now this is a sub clip and we haven't enabled extends, right? So it's basically just this clip right here, whereas this clip you can still extend it beyond. So that was the second thing that I learned. What else? Subclip workflow, that is probably it. So we are almost 20 minutes into the stream and I've wrapped up the major things that I want to show. Let me just delete this and I hope I haven't messed anything here, but the progress that I've done today is primarily in After Effects. So yesterday I was showing how emojis is a nightmare for every editor, and today I working on my library, how I showed in yesterday's stream. So I am kind of just starting to build the emoji library where I have smileys, and these are all SVGs, right? So how I showed the Noto open source emoji, this thing SVG, and I was just sitting and scrolling through these, and because they're not named, I have to like randomly guess them, and I've been dragging in and dropping them here. And it's good because every single project that I work on, I'm gonna keep building up on this library, and eventually I'll get to a point where this emoji library will be like big enough for every single emoji there is. So that would be nice. But because we've done that way, there is part 1 here and part 2. If I play through this part 1, this is one thing I want to show. I showed a little bit of this. I'm not playing the audio because I don't know about it. I'm just playing this for the video part, like the edit part. So if you play After Effects, just refuses to play sometimes. Yeah, it does refuse. No problem, I'll just run After Effects again. All Control Shift P to open the last recent project. That's a very weird shortcut, but it is. And I forget I've hit G1. Okay, so this first part I'm gonna play. What I had done was I had just put the text yesterday. What I've done today is I've animated the text. So again, this is a very laborious job of separating these words into single word, separating these sentences into single words. So this is a little calm way of working. And this one thing, right? Just for this one thing, what I did is I rendered out, because I wasn't able to figure Magic Mask inside Fusion, it was just not working. So I rendered out these videos. These videos that you see here are actual videos. I rendered one video out, so that's AS CD1 Resolve 2, and then I cut it here. And what I did is, just for the part where working is coming, I did that ahead. Let me show you. So if I come in here, yeah, just the part where there's gonna be an overlap, right? Over here it says as they come, I want that overlap effect to come. So just over here I split this clip, okay, and I bring it on the top here, and I've locked all of these. You double click and then you go into your roto menu. So once you're here, you see that this is separated out. And do I show how to separate it out? It's actually pretty straightforward, but if it's needed, let me know. I will make a tutorial on how to do that. And then I continued this here as well. So just that part, again, that is important. Let me just show you how to do one of these. So I have this thing, I can reveal it in Explorer, which is Control Shift E. This is After Effects. Sorry, Control Shift R. These are custom shortcuts. It won't work for your system. Okay, let's say I just want like this part to be separate, okay, from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. I'm going to say Control Shift D and a Control Shift D. It's important to have an in point and out point separate because that is what will be used for propagating, okay. And I'm gonna extend the bottom here. Still zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the bottom is extended here, and this is where I'm going to do the rotoscoping. So this part I'm going to double click, go inside here, double click on it, okay. That's important. Once you double click, you come into the layer instead of the composition. Once you're in the layer, what you can do is you can zoom in here, and because I also knew the fact that the text only has to come behind his head, so I don't even need to roto the entire subject out. Depending on whatever use case is, if you want the entire subject to be separate, then you'll have to do it that way. Let me show you if you want to get the entire subject as well, because it's only 1 second anyway. So if I want to come in here and roto the entire subject out, I'm going to take my roto brush tool from here. So you select this, you hold down, say roto brush tool, then you come back here, okay. And here a few shortcuts you want to know is holding down Control and left mouse button will make the brush bigger or smaller. This is the only thing you want to know, okay. Holding down Alt will make it into a negative, so it's going to remove selection, but right now we don't have a selection. So I'm gonna just paint above, like over him, like this, like a stick man. Now this is not such a user friendly this thing. Oops, but I pressed G2, something happened. I was doing it for G2 is working inside. G1, G2 is doing this. So wait I will not press these. Let me just escape it out. One way to do that is just delete this roto brush, okay. Let me just go in and stay, but then you have to move and show these things. Stay here. I'm not going to press G1, G2 now because it's messing up with the roto. I showed you where the roto tool is. I'm going to come in here and drag, so that does this. Now over here, these are important, right? This and this. So you want to stick to these depending on which one is better for what you need. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and select his body, Alt to remove. get this, get this, get this. Now the hand is going to be a problem because it's coming in and going out and all that, but in this 1 second of demonstration I think we should be good. So we go on this and this here, control left to bring it down and get the right glass as well. Okay, so that is that. Maybe take this little bit finger here, alt to bring it down, alt to remove it, sorry, and like this. Now where these other ones come in handy is here, right, when you want to feather it. But before that, over here, this helps, and you can change the color, but you switch from here to here to see if you've gotten everything right. Now you see there is this jagged stuff. So how do you remove that jagged stuff? You come back up and you come to this part here and you play with the feather. So I increase the feather. You can see it better if it's in the first one. I need to check why G1, G2 After Effects is responding to them as shortcuts. I haven't set anything particularly. Okay, come back up. So I've increased the feather and everything, and now important thing here, how do you propagate it? So inside DaVinci Resolve there's a very dedicated button which says track forward, track backward. Even here in After Effects there is tracking, but here for propagation there is no clear such indication. All you have to do is just play. So hit the space bar and it will propagate it for that 1 second. Okay, you hold space bar. If you want to make some changes, right, let's say how do I, let me remove it. Yeah, is there any part that we're missing out? So there is this thing flickering, I don't want that. Let me come here and do an alt to remove this section, and then to recalculate this you again press spacebar and then it will do it, hopefully, but again it will start bringing it back again. So the frames where it's coming back you have to manually remove it and then press spacebar and hope that it stays. It's a bit convoluted that way. Okay, so once that is done, once you've done your roto, you come back to the comp, and now you will see that there is no change absolutely, but there is a big change, and the fact is we've rotoed the subject out. So if you have to switch this off, you'll see this is the subject and a separate thing. So you can come in here, you can take your text and you can say could have thought of something cool to say, but very good. So put a roto here and importantly take the text behind, and that is your cool effect. Let me make it bigger. This was kind of cool. Rotoscope. So there's 1 second now. We have text behind the subject. So this is what I've done. I'm going to come in here and part 1 is what we were showing. Right. Now in here, another important thing, of course, this 30 minutes, close to 30 minutes. These are all basic text animation. This is what I want to show, right? So I found one very beautiful thing inside FreePic. Let me just quickly show it to you. We're running out of time. I mean, there's no real time constraint, but I don't want to be doing the stream forever also. Yeah, this is right up here on my this thing, and if I come in here and I show you the prompt, 10 persons standing, shouting, pointing fingers around a center person seated on a chair, horrific cinematic lighting, center person scared, worried, confused. This is fine. We are used to seeing that AI can generate something like this. What is amazing is when you come in here into styles, there is this new style here called Illustrate Drop, and this is a beautiful style. Like, I just love the output that I got from this style. So that's the only thing I wanted to show. So if I come and create this one thing that I made, this was with that style, and I really loved how it came out. And I came in here and said grain and added some grain, and you see if you zoom in here, it also has that like nice green gradient background effect to it, and this is beautiful. So this I did in my part 2, and for part 1 again what I want to show is how I animated that, right? So if you see in here, what I firstly did is I took that image and I started to separate all of these people out and everything, and I thought I'll do a parallax inside of After Effects, like a manual parallax. But then I thought maybe we'll just put to runway and see what happens. And this person doing this thing, this I couldn't do it myself, obviously. This is an AI thing. So runway. This one thing I'm struggling with runway is I don't have enough credits left, and it's very expensive to get credits. I only have 75 credits left, so that's the thing. The prompt I gave it was camera pans out from the center of the frame to current frame, people in the background talking and pointing fingers at the person in the center, dynamic motion. And it didn't really do the thing with the background people, but it added some kind of motion to the person here in the middle. That was that. And then some, yeah, you'll see you will see emojis everywhere in my edits now, thanks to the fact that I demonstrated it being a nightmare. It is starting to be less of a nightmare for me. You will see this a lot more in action in the part 2 is what I was working here. This I showed you how I generated this inside of FreePic, and then I have done manual. This is not runway, so I made a camera layer, I've brought this out, and then I've had these things popping up here. There is this thing here, then a client message is coming, and you see all of these emojis here. There's going to be a lot more emojis coming up, so this is full of emojis now. Wait, why is that full? Yeah, so I'm making it a very interactive emoji based thing, and it's really fun. It's really fun the way this edit is turning out. Also, I'm feeling is the input a little too loud, because I'm always at -3 or -10. Wait, I had a filter, I had a limiter which was limiting a threshold at -8, so I should actually never go beyond -8. But then if I do here this, am I clipping? I'm not clipping, but I'm going to -8. So I should maybe take the threshold to -10. That way I'm -10 is good. -10 or -11, something. -11, yeah. Because it's good to have clear audio, which shouldn't be like too loud as well for somebody to like, what is he doing? Because one thing I still have to figure is there's a lot of noise that is coming, so the noise reduction is something for which I have to have playback come from OBS, which is not happening. I have to figure that out. Anyway, I think that's how we conclude today's this thing. Is there anything more that I have to document? I don't think so. I have to make the thumbnail, which I wanted to be a part of the stream as well, because otherwise I take a lot of time. I waste a lot of time. So let's just make the thumbnail and wrap the session up. Yeah, if you want to see, oops. Okay, I thought we're gone because it's a live stream, and I hadn't opened Photoshop since evening. So I opened it and it's like, get out of here. Even Illustrator I haven't opened since evening. I'm gonna close all the unnecessary stuff. So these Chrome is a RAM monster. Close Chrome whenever you can. This year I was showing this. I spent so much, I wasted so much time trying to make these separate, right? I separated this out, separated this out, and then this, and even then there is so much like work to do, and then do the parallax. So that way I really find runway to be useful, where I can just give it an image and it does kind of something, but again there is not enough control over things. You just have to settle with whatever comes in. That's a disadvantage of AI always. So save this and close this, save this and close this, close this. 1920 1080. What is the title? How does source patching work in Vinci Resolve? Source patching, actually this is good enough, but how do I make a source patching thing? So here I do have these. YouTube is not. What? Not receiving enough video. What did I do? Not receiving enough video. How do I give you enough video? IV cam is fine. Okay, fine. I'm just ending the stream. Don't worry. How do I... Let me just take this. Take it. Obviously, I need a timeline. So I'll take a timeline, and I don't want to put my face in this one. I'm just gonna do it this way, and obviously you don't need names to come on the thumbnail, so I'll leave this. We'll just fill these to hide the names. And one thing I've learned with thumbnails is you don't want them to be so complicated, right? Right now it's just too unnecessarily complicated. So I have this one clip which is selected. Yeah, I think what would be nice would be to show that the ripple happening. So if I come in here, say F9, that happens, and if I have this selected, then that happens. Or see, that's what the thing is, right? You try communicate everything in the thumbnail and it doesn't work. Okay. How do we simplify this? Simplify, simplify, simplify. That is the mantra for a good thumbnail. Let's say I keep the whole timeline, and then let's just keep the whole timeline. Yeah, I just want to look at it how I would do it. So and I'm going to use an arrow. Arrows are very important in thumbnails. Flip horizontal. Oh, actually I need it here. Again, you see I'm making a very bad thumbnail because I'm putting so many things. But one of the things that I've learned is making a thumbnail is not, it's not like a straightforward process. There's so much of trial and error that goes. And you know, we would say, oh no, you want to make it design look good, and you don't want to try and appeal somebody and make them click. All of that is just excuses. I used to give these excuses myself, but really making a good thumbnail is an art. You need to take into account psychology and what will make somebody want to click. On your video. So I want to come in here, do this. Man, I think it's a little too convoluted. By self, Control C, Control V is not doing anything actually. Think about how can I make it simpler enough. I'm gonna duplicate this and place it here, or let's say on yeah, 45-minute stream. I just put these two, and yeah, we need the Resolve logo. This is good, right? Because I get to practice making a thumbnail every single day. So even if this is not the best, we still practicing and we're getting somewhere. Again, this is not how I would think about making a thumbnail maybe like even a few months back. But the way I've started to think about making thumbnails has really changed. The more you even consume content, right, it changes like how you, if you saw this thumbnail on your YouTube feed, I talk to myself like this way. If I saw this thumbnail on my YouTube feed, and what you want to do is you want to like zoom out. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is one good way of, so when you zoom out, you see the Vinci Resolve logo, but these things that I've marked, they're not very clear. Can we make these a little bigger? I select all of this. How far can we go? Can go here. Actually, don't do that. Yeah. Why? We are in Photoshop. We have a lot of control over things. I can just take this, separate this out. Okay, so that's separate. And over here, I'm gonna take this. Let's say this section. Separate it out. What? Separate it out. So that's different. I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm gonna also turn these off for the moment. I want this to be pretty big, right? This to be here. So I have this in focus and I have this here. And let me just turn this arrow, as this arrow is just hanging around here. And this I want here, so I'm gonna make this bigger. I think we'll have to do one more split, or maybe two more splits. This is not a smart object, so if I bring it down and then take it up, it will lose its resolution, so I have to be a little careful there. I'm gonna make splits, as in one split is gonna be this and the other is the one at the bottom. So I bring this on, I put this and this to the top. Okay, this here is another clip. They were at the top, right? Control this and this, control shift right square, yeah. So now these are here. I can take this. Do you want to show both of them? Wait, I can do it this way. I just put this here. That is good. And then this can be here. Try and roughly match this. Sorry, I know I'm taking way too much time, but this, hopefully this will give you an idea of how it is. And I do have the other part as well, so I can just bring this here and try to match it. This blue line, so match this 16 here. Then what, how is it not matching? Take the part from here, Control Shift G, bring it here. Yeah, this is, oh ha, I took it from underneath. Got it. So that means this is not that. We are here. This is this. Wait. The size is off. रामैया हो बारिक तेरा काहे न खंडस अवगुण मेरा रामैया हो बारिक तेरा काहे न खंडस सुत अपराध करत है चेते जननी चेत न राखस देते. Okay, I'm going to select this part. हाँ ठीक है ठीक है. New layer. Select this part. I say alt, I'm doing alt backspace, that just fills the foreground color. Okay, then we have this, the last part, and I'm gonna try and अरे हाँ ना, क्या हो गया? Could not transfer selector because the selector area is empty. It is not empty. हद होती है। एम्प्टी क्यों है ये? क्लियरली दिख तो रहा है। I just duplicate that layer and the weird error went away. That happens sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna select this and say Control Shift G, so that is separate. And man, so much I have to do. I'm sure there was a better, easier, more efficient way of doing this. But it's good, like whatever we've done is good. Just a few more fillings. That's good. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. And what else is left? This thing. So I'm gonna take a section, this one, because it is nice. Say Control Shift G. Okay. And bring this up. Okay, and now I'm just gonna copy this, paste it ahead. How did it go there? Come on, we're almost there. Yeah, this is good. Now, wait, this will have to be. There is an outline and a rounded rectangle situation. I don't think that will matter so much because anyway this is not a true timeline. What are you talking about? Okay, this is good. Now I have Vinci Resolve already. Control Shift right square bracket, throw it up. That is good. Okay, now we can zoom out and we're still seeing the things that we wanted to. And I have these. Where did those things go? There's this and this and this. I don't think I will need all of them. Control Shift, throw it up. So this was for this auto track selector. This was for this. Okay, now if you zoom out, it's good enough, like we are getting what we needed. Okay, that is good. We've gone to 55 minutes. The thumbnail took the most part, but I think it's worth documenting, like whatever you learn, whatever I'm learning here through experimentation is good. So that's it for today's documentation. Thanks so much for being in the code. I will catch you tomorrow. I'm not sure, Saturday, if there is something we will document, otherwise on Monday. वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह।